The Trojan horse is a huge hollow wooden horse constructed by the Greeks to gain entrance into Troy during the Trojan War. Let us unlock some vocabulary words. Rage, to be in tumult, to prevail uncontrollably. Lurk, to lie in wait in a place of concealment, especially for an evil purpose. Cunning, characterized by wiliness and trickery. Wily, crafty. Marvel, to become filled with surprise, wonder, or amazed curiosity. Wrath, strong vengeful anger or indignation. Quiver, to shake or move with a slight trembling motion. Eerie, so mysterious, strange, or unexpected as to send chill up the spine. Wretched, extremely or deplorably bad or distressing. Fathom, to penetrate and come to understand. Rumor, talk or opinion widely disseminated with no discernible source. Turmoil, a state or condition of extreme confusion, agitation, or commotion. Blank, a heavy, thick board. Omen, an occurrence or phenomenon believed to indicate a future event. Prophecy, a prediction of something to come. Massive, forming or consisting of a large mass, or bulky. Descendant, one originating or coming from an ancestral stock or source. Surge, to rise suddenly to an excessive or abnormal value. Decree, to command. Inflict, to give by or as if by striking. The Trojan Horse. The war between the Greeks and the Trojans is in its 10th year. For 10 long years, the war had raged, and many of the finest and bravest warriors on both sides had fallen in battle. The happiest day in the history of Troy was when the Greek army sailed away. Little did they realize that the enemy army had not set sail for faraway Greece. Instead, they had only taken their ships to the other side of the island, called Tenedos, and there they were lurking, out of sight, but still not far away. It was all a cunning trick thought up by the wiliest of the Greeks, the red-haired Odysseus, who was never short of a plan. The Trojans saw that the Greeks had left behind a strange offering. It was a giant wooden horse with ribs made from planks of fir trees. The people marveled at the massive statue, but there were different opinions about what they should do with it. The crowd was wavering, and a white-bearded old priest spoke out above the murmur. Fellow citizens, whatever this strange horse may be, remember this. It is always wise to fear the Greeks, especially when they are bringing gifts. By the great god Poseidon, Lord of the seas, and by everything that is sacred, let us not fall into this deadly trap, for that is what it surely is. So saying, the old priest hurled a mighty spear at the horse, and it flew into the beast's side and quivered, and the guts of the horse resounded with an eerie hollow sound like a long, deep moan. Just then, a Trojan patrol came upon the scene, and they brought with them a prisoner, a Greek called Sinon, whom the army had left behind. Now we will find out the truth, said the Trojan guards. "Let's poke this wretched Greek spy with our bronze spears until he tells us what this Greek gift is all about." When he heard this, the poor prisoner cried out, "No, please, don't harm me. I'll happily tell you all you want to know, for cruel, scheming Odysseus is no more a friend of mine than he is of you." And so, the Trojans listened to what Sinon had to say, and they tried to fathom whether or not he spoke the truth. "Do you not think that the Greeks would have gladly given up this war before 10 long years had passed? Let me tell you that many times they planned to leave their sufferings behind, as they have done now. But each time they prepared to sail away in their big black ships, the sea god Poseidon sent a terrible storm and whipped up giant waves on the wine-dark sea. They consulted the priest, who told them the reason why the gods were inflicting such pain. You see, before he left his home in Argos, King Agamemnon, the great leader of men, waited an entire month for a wind to blow his ships to Troy. Eventually, he decided that the gods required a very special offering, and as usual, it was scheming Odysseus who thought up the plan. He sent for Agamemnon's own daughter, his darling Iphigenia, and told her that she was to marry swift-footed Achilles. She came with great joy and gladness in her heart, for Achilles was the finest and bravest of the Greeks. But it was all a most dreadful trick. Instead of marrying Achilles at the altar of the cliffs high up above the sea, the priest sacrificed the lovely white-skinned young maiden to the sea god. Straight away, as the foul deed was done, the winds began to blow. Now, 10 long years later, as we were waiting for a wind to take us back home, Odysseus came up with another plan. "I know," he said. "Let's sacrifice the most useless of those among us. Nobody will miss Sinon. He has only ever criticized our plans and called us leaders wicked and foolish. We once sacrificed an innocent young girl. Now, let's give the gods the life of a man, and you'll see they will send us a fair wind to blow us swiftly home." But before Odysseus sent his guards to fetch me to my death, a rumor reached me of what he had said, and I ran into the woods and hid. So the Greeks came up with a second plan to appease the gods, and you see the result before you. This magnificent wooden horse is their offering, to say how sorry they are for all the needless death and destructions they have caused. Only bring it inside your walls before night falls, because unless I am far wrong, there will be gold and treasure hidden deep inside the belly of that wooden horse. When the Trojans had heard Sinon's tale, many of them were greedy for the treasure, and they believed his wicked lies, for he spoke most convincingly. But still, the crowd was uncertain what to do, until that is, a most terrible thing happened. The old priest, who had thrown his spear at the horse, was standing by the sea when a great monster arrived swimming into shore and carried him off its jaws. It all happened in a flash, and the Trojans were filled with strange terror. The Trojans brought ropes and placed wheels beneath the statue's feet, so that they might pull the wooden horse through the gates of their magnificent city. As the ill-omened procession entered Troy, girls and boys danced around the horse, singing holy chants. There was rejoicing in the city, and even the fortune-teller, Cassandra, did not dare open her lips, though she foresaw the pending doom. For the gods had given Cassandra the gift of clear-sighted prophecy, but had decreed that not one person would believe her. Sinon the Greek had been set free, and nobody noticed that he lit a fire on the beach to signal to the army on the island of Tenedos that the wooden horse was within the walls of Troy. Next, he returned to the city and opened a secret door in the belly of the horse, and the Greek band of warriors, who had been hiding all the time within, let down a long rope, and they were led to the ground by cunning Odysseus, who was the first of them to stand in the central square of magnificent Troy. It was not long before the Greek intruders had surprised the guards on the main gates and killed them. Soon, the wide doors were open, and the Greek army was surging into Troy. The Trojans were either drunk or sleeping and in no way ready to fight. On every side, the city was in turmoil. Soon, the palace of King Priam was in the grip of fire, and Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world, for whom these 10 years of war had been fought, was throwing herself at the feet of her Greek husband, King Menelaus, and protesting how she had been kidnapped and brought to Troy against her will. It was all lies, of course, but Menelaus was ready to believe his lovely wife and took her once more in his arms.